What's up, everyone? Mr. Totem back again. And yeah, I took a little bit of a break, and I'm gonna tell you why I took a little break. I took a little break because you remember that 3D video I had dropped a little bit ago? So I finally went deep into my 3D work, deep into the 3D printing. And here we are. So as you can see behind me, I've been doing a lot of stuff, y'all. I've been doing a lot of stuff. And some of the things that I got into, I gotta kind of like break it down a little bit, you know. Let me put you on the stand here. Get on the stand, man. So what happened was, right? You know, for years and stuff like that, I had said in the other video, for years and years, I've been doing my 3D Lettermechs and stuff like this for a long time. My mechanical battle serifs and all my different Lettermechs. And, you know, I've always wanted to make them real. I always wanted to get into making them where you can be around them almost like a statue or a what's that? A sculpture, right? And you know, there was a lot of ways to approach it. I've done it before. I've actually made one of my letters and my whole piece into a giant sculpture before. And you know, the more I went to drawing these pieces, the crazier and crazier they got. And since they get crazy, you know, I started being like, well, I mean, I might as well do some fun stuff with them, right? So what do I mean? Well, you know, I have the mechanical battle serif, and my Lettermechs are basically spider mechs. And you know, like, let me go ahead and see if I can learn it and design it and make it like how I would make it. Here we are. There's my a bunch of my printouts of my Lettermechs that I've been doing. Know what I'm saying? So these particular you know, pieces I've made. So the thing is about it, while I was working on doing them, there was a lot of challenges, right? There's a lot of challenges to make a piece where, you know, it's a word. You see it all the way across. It's a word, and the piece has to be readable. You have to be able to see the name all the way across. You know, there's some guys out there who try to do the same thing. It's funny because they just make it look like something else and then kind of squint your eyes and there's letters there. No. That's whack. You got to have where you can see the letters pretty much straight across, you know. So, well, you start with, you know, if you start with a canvas, the letters are all the way straight across and stuff like that. And I had to sit there and think like, what exactly do I have to do to make the letters very, very straight across visual? So one would think, okay, well, just take a picture of your canvas, bring it into the computer program, and just build from there. Nope. So what happens is, when I draw these on a piece of paper, on the paper, it makes sense in your head. It's like your brain goes, yeah, back there in the corner, there's a leg or a this, that, and the third. It's like this. But realistically, it don't work like that when you actually bring it to the real world, into an actual three-dimensional world. So I had to sit there and bend the whole. So if it's like this, I had to bend it in a way where you could still see TOTEM. All right, it needed to make sense like that. So there's quite a bit of engineering where you have to make the viewer jump the uncanny valley, if you will. So when I first started designing it, the first one that I got right was this one right here. So I call this the Kuwagata Lettermech because it looks like a Japanese horned beetle, and from those two big pincers looking up there. But in this, you could see where it was really important to actually get the word to be visual all the way across. T-O-T-E-M, right? And when you're actually viewing it from this twisted space like this, it gets real difficult, because now I got to pay attention to this way, this way, this way, this way. And symmetry is not the answer to make that work. Matter of fact, symmetry makes it even harder. And when you're designing, when you're trying to make the thing look like a piece, but still look like it could possibly walk, there's a really difficult line to actually to walk with that, you know. So after I did that Kuwagata, I had got pretty comfortable at that point. I got a whole lot more comfortable, and I finally was able to get the overall stance right. And the one that I got the stance right with was my Scorpion unit. So let me grab one that's visual, you can see well. Let's get this. So I have a silver one right here. So this is the Scorpion unit, all right? So this particular one, its actual stance, I felt like it was very comparable to my pieces. And that was the key here. When you look at it from straight, the T-O-T-E-M, it's a little tough to see in this because this thing, because it's kind of a fisheye lens, but the E-M is there pretty straight across. And this particular piece, what's so significant about it is that it's actually the letters from my actual canvas, right? Because you can't just make it look like the canvas. You actually have to make it its own thing that mimics what the canvas looks like. So if you look close, it's actually this canvas, this letter. Hopefully you can see it well. So it's like that, like that. Yeah, so this piece is essentially from that canvas. So, you know, when you actually have to make these things, you're trying to make it still look like what it says, but also trying to make it real, to make it actually look like it could walk. Now, that's really the wildest part, because after I had made that Scorpion mech, then I started making other ones. So I made this, the next one was the heavy Lettermech. Oops, let me hold this guy. So the heavy Lettermech, this one's got more weaponry, more armor, more cannons. See, it's got missile salvos right there. It's got twin Vulcan cannons. You know what I'm saying? So when I went to the heavy Lettermech, I started making a bunch of those. You know what I'm saying? And so after I had made the heavy Lettermech, then finally, not finally, but I finally got to the point where I made the piece from up here, which is the desert mech. Let me see if I can point to it. That guy, that piece right here. And that one is this one. But the difference with this one is I made this one a little bit more wilder than the other ones because I wanted this one to have a big ass melee weapon. Okay? What do you mean? This motherfucker right here. It's got a giant chainsaw to it. You understand what I'm saying? So yeah. That guy right there. Yeah. So this is the desert mech. And the desert mech, the desert Lettermech, this one has a chainsaw. It's got a triple center cannons right underneath the O. And you can still read it all the way across, TOTEM. You know what I'm saying? You know, there are elements in this where you have to work with making it where you can still read the piece all the way across, right? I really enjoyed putting a dang chainsaw on there. There's a cut off piece of the chainsaw, but you can see that thing. Cut your whole face, kid. Yeah, so that's that one. And you know, those are the first batches of Lettermechs that I made. And I actually have a few more that I don't have the full printout in front of me right this second, but you get the idea of what I've been up to. And well, what's the reason for making all these? Well, so I made these to release. I made these to, you know, for people always have wanted, you know, my pieces, but also have wanted me to make these things into toys. Man, you got to make them into a Gundam or something. It's like, well, look, I don't know about making them into a Gundam, but I figured out how to do this. So now these Lettermechs are actually live on my site. Not all my Lettermechs, just the Scorpion unit is released right now. I'm gonna release the other ones later on in towards the end of the year. But right now, getting the Scorpion Lettermech is on there to get. You know what I'm saying? So these particular ones right here, these are my standard prints. These are 13 inches wide. So my standard prints, those are ones just for the dude who's like, yo, I just want a small, you know, print of your piece so I could just keep. What I'm really hoping is that people pick them up and custom paint it themselves. Those are people who are really good at doing stuff like that. They paint models and stuff like that. You know, I'd like to see what people would do with one of my Lettermechs, and I'm gonna have a contest, and the contest is whoever can paint the best Lettermech, I'm gonna give them a canvas. So, you know, that's what I was hoping and aiming for these particular Lettermech standard prints. But not just the standard prints I've been working on, I also been working on my high grade. So the high grades, this is the high grade Scorpion unit. And it's freaking huge and super cumbersome to hold. But as you can see, it's ginormous. So this is my custom painted high grade Scorpion unit. And you can see the huge gun, the huge tail cannon right there. You can see the Vulcan cannon right there, the Gatling gun. And yeah, so these high grades and stuff, these guys I'm gonna release later on in the year. I'm gonna release them in two different ways. I'm gonna make them where they're unpainted and they're basically assemblable, large format, like how this one was. So basically, I don't print these. My homeboy maker makes these, and he makes them to where you can just basically assemble them. Or finally, the highest of the high is that I'll paint them myself. Basically, you'll have one where it's designed, printed, and painted by the guy himself, your boy, yours truly. Know what I'm saying? So here is the high-grade Scorpion unit. So yeah, that was where I went with the actual Lettermechs. So at that point, and there's some other little fun stuff you see over here that I've been working on too, including my body style, but that's coming way later. Know what I'm saying? So yeah, you know, that's literally what I've been up to. I took a little hiatus. Hopefully y'all didn't miss me too much. You know, basically so I could get some of these things out there for people to have if they want them and stuff like that. Moreover, for me to like expand on what can be done in graph lettering, because there aren't people out there doing what I'm doing. And you know, there are a few guys out there who are making little pseudo versions of stuff like fun like that, but not to this level. Everybody's doing cut out of foam and stuff like that. This is the real deal. So yeah, you know what I'm saying? Hopefully you guys could check me out. You know what I'm saying? If you want to catch you a Lettermech, make sure you follow my Lettermech Instagram at the Lettermech. And you know, if you want to catch yourself one of these pieces and stuff like that, one of these Lettermechs, just go on my website. I dropped them right now. The Scorpion unit's on there. Get you one. Paint it up. Let me see that joint. You know what I'm saying? I want to see what you guys got, you know, because Lord, my talent ain't in model painting, but it sure as hell would be pretty cool if y'all do. So yeah, show me what you got. You know what I'm saying? You know, keep checking me out. You know, do all that other stuff or whatever, but now you get an idea of what I've been up to, y'all. You know what I'm saying? All right. Well, I'll check y'all later. All right. Mr. Totem out. Peace.